Speaking of the B segment, the Opel Corsa has long been overshadowed by popular hatchback rivals like the Ford Fiesta and the VW Polo, but should you add it to your Super Mini shopping list?
This is the Opel Corsa Sport, and I think let's start off with unpacking what we mean by sport. We don't mean the full-fat Polo GTI or Clio RS. We're talking more Clio GT line or Peugeot 208 GT line. Warm hatches instead of hot hatches.
Now, as car enthusiasts, we tend to get excited when we hear the word sport. But as Sean mentioned, in the case of the Opel Corsa Sport, the sport is a little bit of a misnomer. That being said, there is a lot to like about this little car.
The Opel Corsa is a trendy, fun, cute-looking car, and I think it's perfect for someone who's looking for something that's really small, but also looks a bit edgy and stylish.
Personally, I'm a fan of the way it looks. On the Sport, you get nice touches like the sill extensions, and those 17-inch alloys are beautiful.
This 1.4-litre turbo produces 110 kilowatts and 220 Newton meters. And the engine itself is actually not too bad. It's punchy and makes actually quite a nice little sound. It does suffer from low down lag though.
But once it gets going, it was really punchy, it was really nifty.
What I liked most was the suspension setup, and that's because it goes against the current trend of making suspension systems overly firm.
I feel like they did keep a good balance between the stiffness and compliance of everyday driving.
You can tell that these underpinnings are quite old, especially compared to the likes of the Polo or the Fiesta, which feel a little bit more comfortable on the road and a little bit more well poised. What I did notice, however, that when you go over a bump, the back end tends to prop up quite a bit.
The back end can feel a little bit unsettled, and I think that's down to the dampening of the suspension.
The interior I found was quite dark.
Where the Corsa is starting to show its age, and this is not specific to the Sport, is in the interior packaging. When you get into a car like the Polo, for instance, it feels much bigger inside than its actual physical dimensions suggest.
The rest of the interior actually is very nice. It's very well spec'd. It's got nice piano black finishes and a few little chrome strips here and there.
I did find the infotainment system a joy to work around. I think it's got a host of safety features, and in a car in this segment, I find that it's quite impressive.
So this Corsa Sport retails for about 306,000 Rand, which is about 50,000 Rand more than a standard Corsa.
But you would probably find better value if you shop lower down the range.
For me, the 1-litre turbo that's fitted into a standard Corsa is just as good, if not better, than this engine over here. Although it does make less power, it just feels a little bit more punchy, a little bit more refined.
And if it's something really sporty you're after, I would suggest you wait for the GSI, which is coming later this year.